Okay, here we go. Ready, go. Okay, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about Eleventy. This is a static site generator that I use to build most of my projects these days. This is the documentation, which you can find at eleventy.dev. That's 11ty.dev. Like I said, I've used this to build my personal website, which currently ranks 4th on leaderboard of Eleventy sites as measured by Lighthouse score. So that's pretty cool. There's about 400 sites in this leaderboard. I've also used this to build our design system website. And recently I did a project for a friend of mine who has just started working on the Star Wars team at Respawn. And so he wanted to put together this site where he could use the Flickr API to populate a site that he could then search by different tags like schematic, right? Or another one is like targeting computer. So this pulls up stuff by tags. You can view all the tags. And so this is built in Eleventy. It's built into static pages using the API. So all these searches are like not using the live Flickr API. This is all just static content. So Eleventy is like super versatile. One of my side projects is called Eleventy Recipes, and I describe this as the site that I wish existed when I first started doing Eleventy sites. Essentially, all of the resources I had found up till then were very opinionated about like all of the different features that they had, as far as like bootstrap sites and things like that. And so the idea of the site is it kind of breaks down every step of the process for you, so you can kind of add to your site whatever you want to do. So we're actually going to use Eleventy recipes to kick off this site, and I'm going to just go ahead and do it live. Right, we have some Bill O'Reilly energy here. So this site that we're going to build is for the actual Tech Talks here at Provi, which we call the sauce. And the site's going to be super simple. I actually made just a dumb little Figma design for it, so that let's even to fit this. So you're probably not going to be able to see this very well, but essentially just like quick blurb about what the sauce is, upcoming talks, and then a little form where people can either request to hear a talk or give a talk on a specific topic. And we'll use Netlify's forms to make that work. And hopefully I'll be able to get through this in an hour. I'm only 3 minutes in, so here we go. Starting an Eleventy site from scratch. So I have a folder on my computer called 2021. These are all my projects for this year. So this will be the first. We're going to make, we'll call this sauce demo. And then we'll go into sauce demo. I'm not a prolific typer, so bear with me. And then we're going to make a package JSON file. This -y basically just says yes to all the defaults. And then I'm going to install Eleventy. Oops, got extra space in there. I'm sure throughout this there'll be stuff that I do that's like, why are you doing it that way? Are you an idiot? What is wrong with you? Please chime in. Let me know when you see something like that, because just kind of hack this stuff together and it works, and it's good enough for me. But if there's a better way, I'd love to hear about it. So Eleventy is installing. I'm going to be on my deathbed contemplating how much time I spent waiting for npm install to run throughout the course of my life. Okay, so now we've installed that, and we want to create our first page. So we can just do a quick little thing here on the command line. We'll call this the sauce. A little markdown here, index, markdown. got a page, and then we do npx Eleventy -Eleventy. I know it's weird. -serve, and this will basically run Eleventy in that directory. Look for any Markdown or HTML or different template engines, things like Ninjux, some other ones, Ninjux Liquid, things like that, and it will basically convert those into HTML files. So and then it will host our site, and it will check for changes on those files, and when it detects changes, it will refresh those, and so this is at localhost 8083. This is kind of what I'm shooting for. This is my first run through where I did all the styling. So we have the sauce. That's pretty much it, right? And if we inspect this, it just doesn't have any HTML at all. There's nothing in the head. It's just got very simple body. This is all kind of added by the browser. So that's that. Eleventy sauce. This is kind of my cheat sheet here. Make a repo. Okay, now we want to go back to Eleventy recipes, and let's make a GitHub repo for this guy. I'm going to Control-C the sauce demo. We're going to, let's make this getIgnore so that we're not committing node modules. We're not committing the site folder, which is where all of these files get compiled. We'll put that in getIgnore. We'll initialize our repo, get a init. We will add all of our files to be committed. There's not very many. I can't think straight. And then we will commit those. Initial commits, right? Boom. Okay, and then we'll go to GitHub. Let's see. And we will create a new repo. Call this sauce demo. And we will just click create repository. Yep. Okay, and then we have this option here to push existing repo from the command line. So I'm basically just going to copy and paste these 3 lines here. Bada bing, bada boom. That's doing its thing. So now I should have this sauce demo with my getIgnore, my index file, and my package.json package lock. Okay, so back to this guy. That's pretty much that. So now we've hooked this up to GitHub, and now we can actually deploy it to Netlify. So I have a Netlify account. I can log in here. I can create a new site from Git and select GitHub for my continuous deployment, and this will essentially authorize using GitHub, and then I can pick one of my repositories here. So this is sauce demo right there, and this all should be good for the default for now. We'll go ahead and deploy the site. So now this is essentially on Netlify going into the repo, and doing like npm install, and then running Eleventy, compiling the stuff, and then deploying it. And you can add, any kind of like continuous integration stuff in here. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Netlify, and they automate a lot of this stuff. So even if you're not really familiar or comfortable with that stuff like me, it makes it very easy to do. So now I can go back to this thing. They've given us this Musing Vermi preview page. We can click on that, and here's our site deployed in the wild. So you could actually go to this right now, but this is a really hideous URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into site settings. I'm going to change the site name to sauce demo, and now you could go to saucedemo.netlify app, and you can see our page live on the web. So let's see, let me check my timer. That's less than 10 minutes. I'm sure someone who's better at Eleventy, who wasn't talking so much, could have done it much faster. But in 10 minutes, we've quickly deployed a site to the web. Right. So next thing we want to do is we want to start our MVP. Right. So we have this this mockup. Figma mockup, I just wanted to show that to you. Now we're going to do layouts, right? So one of the problems with our local version here, right, is we don't have any actual HTML or anything. So I'm actually going to open this in a new window. So that's here. We'll divvy here. So, bang. Okay, so, and then we'll get a terminal going on here. Go. Shut this one down. Okay, so, and I can refer back to that. Actually, I'll put this one over here where you can't see it, but I can. And, oh, now I've done it. Okay. Divvy that again. There we go. Okay. So, we have our index file, right? So this is just the entire thing that we're showing here. So what we want to do is we want to create a folder called underscore includes. And in this folder, we'll make a file. We'll call this base Ninjux, right? And so, so this will be like our template. So what we can do here is I'll change this from Ninjux to HTML just so I can use the short code here. Oops, not that. That's not quite what I had in mind. HTML5. We'll call this sauce. And then in here, we'll do content. I want to say it's save. Right? Consult my... here, actually, it's on this guy here. Deploy a Netlify site. Add a layout. Yep, content safe. Wow, I remembered it. Okay. We'll save that guy. Okay, and then in our index file, in order to tell it to use that... in order to tell it to use that layout, we're going to use what's called front matter, and we basically just pass it a layout. And Eleventy knows to the extensions by default is Ninjux, so we can just say base here, and then we save that, and then we'll run npx. I'm going to make a shortcut for this in a little bit. It's 11d serve, right? There it is, 8082. So this is now running on 8082. There it is, and now we have our head with our title, and that's looking better. So now we need some CSS, right? Oh, look at this. I got all these people talking. When do I enter the matrix? Yep. I was told there would be murders happening. I'll be doing some Hitman murders after. If you're reading this, I'm already dead. Sorry, Justin. Sorry I killed you with Eleventy. So yeah, CSS. So one of the resources that I love is Stephanie Eccles. She's this prolific developer who just cranks out really good tutorials, and her tutorials are like super concise. And so she has all of these on there. In this Eleventy site from scratch, she has like a little 5-minute video of how to add like a SaaS workflow to this. So essentially what we want to do is I will open a new window here, and we're going to do npm install SaaS and also npm run all. And we'll do save dev. Hopefully I won't break anything. Good. So now we have those in our package file. We're pulling those guys in here. What am I missing here? I feel like I'm missing something. There's usually 4 things there. Oh, right. I'll get to that later. Okay, so in our scripts now, in order to run these, and I'm just going to copy and paste this because it's a lot to type, but and I'll explain what this does. So essentially, we have these, we have start and build, right? So when we do a start, we're essentially using npm run all to simultaneously run, to build SaaS and watch for changes on Eleventy, and also Sass. And then so these watch and build Sass, it's basically saying whatever's in this folder, the Sass folder, convert that to CSS and dump it in this folder, right? And so that's basically that. And so now if I do npm start, it's essentially going to run Sass and Eleventy simultaneously. So let's see, I got to save that and go back to this window. I will quit out of that and I will just run, oops, I can just run npm start now. And it's already breaking. What did I forget? Oh, right, I have to make a Sass directory, so I need a folder called Sass. Oh, right, I need the Sass folder, so we'll just do this, and then we will, inside of our Sass folder, we'll make a file. We'll call that sauce Sass. Sauce S. And we'll just say, like, body, font family, sans serif. So it's really generic style there that we can test to see if this is working. So we'll run npm start again. There we go, 8082. So this should change from serif to sans serif when I refresh, and nothing's happening. Going great. Doing it live. Sauce CSS. Oh, okay. So the other thing we have to do is in base, we need to link to the style sheet. So link, I can never remember the syntax for this. I'm blowing some minds here in the chat. Where am I looking here? Includes base. Okay. Again, I'm just going to copy and paste this so I don't have to type it. We're basically just calling the style sheet, and here this is a Ninjux thing that basically makes the path to the CSS relative regardless of where it lives in the structure of the thing. So I run that, and now this is sans serif, so our styles from this sauce CSS are getting pulled into to our page. Great. So now that we have Sass, I can pull in the styles from Provi's design system. So really all I have to do is go in. I'm loving all these things in the chat. I basically just have to import it. First I have to go in here, and I have to do npm install Provi and idle fizz save dev. So that'll actually pull in the files into my node modules eventually, and then in sauce I can get rid of this and import that from node modules. Save that. Let's go back to this guy. See if that did anything. There it is. So Fizz by default changes all heading tags to inherit the body text style, so that developers aren't like inadvertently using like an H3 to get the styling of an H3. They have to like specifically add a class to get those certain stylings. So let's see, where's my notes here? Eleventy sauce. So we did that, we created the sauce, we put the linked sauce, we added the import. Okay, so now we can actually go into this index file. Oh, did I do layouts? Yeah, I did layouts. So we can add like a title here. We'll call this the sauce. And then let's get rid of this guy. We'll go into our base here and add a little structure here, so we can do header h1 sauce is the name of the site, not necessarily the page. That should be good there. So that's still the same. And then we want to go to index, and we'll do a little, let's check out our little comp here. Something extremely this is yeah, right. This is like ASMR for nerds. Let's see. So we want the index. We'll do like a section here. We'll just have our kind of our intro paragraph. I'll just steal this from here. I'll go to inspect, and you can just copy this. Boom. Sauce is Provi's bi-weekly-ish Tech Talk series where Provi engineers can share their knowledge, learn from each other, and chat about the latest industry trends. Sounds thrilling. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate you stopping in. So let's see. Here's that. Just like kind of getting the content out there before I go nuts with the styling. I can get rid of this window. This is kind of where we're going. Okay, let's see. Layouts. I think we're done with this. Oh, we'll probably have to pass through images at one point. So then we want to do talks. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. So let's see. Check my notes. Pull in Fizz. Header and intro copy. Add page-specific layout to Sauce CSS. Oh, right. So Fizz has like a number of layouts, but I don't really want to use any of them, but I want to have some layout. So what I'm going to do is go in this thing and just paste this in here. And so basically I'm overriding the thing that says in Fizz that says make the minimum height at least 100, the whole viewport height. And then I'm adding some padding. I'm making a little grid. I'm making a gap between the grid, and then I'm centering it. So once I apply this, brush this guy over here. Now it's got kind of a max width. Not insane. Great. So going back to this guy. So we want to now add like a main section that'll have our this will have a list of our events. So we'll call this I'll style this later. Upcoming schedule. And now I'm gonna show you how Eleventy works with data. So you could kind of turn these different events into blog posts, but instead of doing that, I'm going to kind of demonstrate how Eleventy uses data. So I will make a folder called data _data, and inside of there I will make inside of data I will make a file. Call this events.json. And let's see, I'm just gonna copy and paste some data in here. So this is just some JSON that has, like, for each talk it shows the title, the speaker name, a summary of the talk, the date of the talk, an image. So we'll save that, and then index we can then say for event in, we'll call this for talk in events. And then we do a N4 here. And so now inside of that, for basically we can reference all of these in here. So we can do just do this super basic. Not super basic. This is going to be basic for for my tastes. So we'll have our image, and this will be images, which we don't have yet, slash talk image. All right. Yeah. And then for the alt tag, we'll just use the title of the talk. Talk title. Let's just see how that looks so far. Okay. Oh, what the heck? Interesting. What am I missing? Why is it? Oh, wait, what? Is this a fizz thing? Going great so far. Why is it automatically putting that in 3? What did I do different? Nothing. Nunjucks, right? Let's change this to HTML. I don't know if that'll matter, but I'm not using Markdown anyway, so. There we go. Okay. Upcoming schedule goes to Eleventy RSpec testing. Great. So that's working. Now we'll make a fig caption. And inside the fig caption, we'll put, we'll say H3 talk title and P talk speaker. Okay. Sure, why not? Talk summary. I'm getting these names right. Summary speaker. Talk date. That's it, right? Got the image. Yeah, so that. Yeah, that should be it. Save that. Great. One thing I will do. This main, give some spacing. We have a helper utility called fizzflow16. Basically says add 16 pixels of bottom margin to every child of that that element. So the H2 and each figure. So images. Let's get our images in here. I'll create a folder called images. I will go into Finder and copy these logos over to this project. It's called class demo images. Boom. Okay. Now, in order to get these images into our site, because Eleventy doesn't do that automatically, we need to create a file here, like a config file, a root here called .eleventy.js. Okay, and in eleventy.js, you can basically put any JavaScript in here. So we use this module exports to do a passive function to do some like config options for Eleventy. So there's a big thing here called add pass-through copy, and this basically says just take whatever's in this folder, images, and put it in the site folder. So there's that. These are both wildly different sizes, so we want to go in here, and in our image, we will just give it a height of 150 and a width of 150. Boom, there's that. Okay, how am I doing on time? 30 minutes. Oh shit, okay. So what's next? All right, so we could do some styling there. Let's get through the content first. So let's see, the next thing we want to do is just kind of like put a link here that says you know, we won't get to this today, but previous talks, right? So we can link to those. So we can add some conditionals in here that says like only show ones that are in the future based on the date. I don't really have time to do that, but that'll be one. But then clicking on previous talks would essentially show you ones that are before this date. So now we want to add a form that allows people to request a talk. So either volunteer to give a talk, which would be great, or maybe they're interested in a specific topic that someone else at Provi could give a talk on. So we'll do form, and let's see, consult my here. Let's see. First, we'll do page 2 in here. Have a talk idea. I have this keyboard that has home and page up and down keys, and it really throws me off. Okay. Boom. So all right, so we want in here, we want a label. This is going to be super basic. Label. And this label is going to be for name. Input. Can't spell. Type text. Name. Placeholder. First and last name. Man, I'm having some issues. Okay. And then we'll do this ID. Ugh. My fingers are like one key off today. Okay, so basically we're associating this label 4 with this ID. Text label called name. Placeholder first and last name. Let's see how that looks. Have a talk idea. My name is blank. Great. Then we will say label. I want to. My name is blank, and I want to. This is going to be 4. I have a little div here with a couple options. These will just be like kind of blank labels so that the radio button and the text can both be clicked on. So we have the input type radio, and this is going to be I want to. Value is hear a talk. I don't think I need that anymore. Let's see. And I have a little text here. Hear a talk. Cool. Right. And we can copy this. Say, still I want to, but I want to give a talk. Okay. Bing bada boom. We'll fix the styling in a minute. It's blank. I want to hear a talk or give a talk. For this div, I have another label. For about. So the input type text placeholder topic. I still need that. Type text, name about, placeholder topic, and we want to be able to submit this. Oops. We'll say make it so. All right, I think that's it. So my name is blank. I want to hear a talk, give a talk about blank, make it so. Great. So in order to get that to work within Netlify, all we have to do is give this a name, demo form, and then add this Netlify attribute. So when the Netlify builds the site, it looks for forms with the attribute Netlify, and then it essentially does all of the configuration needed to collect the data from that form and notify you essentially what the form was submitted and what the results were. So this is looking pretty good. Now let's go to this guy. We will add everything. We will commit it. We'll just call this MVP. Push that. And now if we go here to Netlify, we have our sauce demo app. Go to deploys, and you see it's building. So this should take about a minute. How are we doing on time here? 36 minutes. All right. It's not going to have all the styling I want, but I think content-wise and in theory, doing pretty good. So the site is live. So now we can go to saucedemo.netlify.app, and there it is. Oh, right. It's not getting the fizz styles because we need to change the build. Where is it? Sauce demo, site settings, build and deploy. We have to change this build command from Eleventy. And we check our package JSON. So we want this, whatever this start is. Actually, we want to build it. So we want npm run all build asterisk. I think will do the trick. And save that. And then we'll go to deploys, and we'll trigger another deploy. See if that fixes the problem. Fingers crossed. The site is live. Okay, so now I can go back here, click on this guy. Now we have our styles, as rudimentary as they are. So I can go in here, I can fill out our form. I want to give a talk about Eleventy and make it so. So now Netlify handles that. We can go back to our site. We can go in here to our Netlify app. Go to sauce demo, forms, demo form. And so this will show you each one. My name is Mike Aparicio. I want to give a talk about Eleventy. Boom. So we're 39 minutes, and we built this site that's pulling data for the events, and it's taking form submissions. And it's relatively easy to set up and maintain. I guess I can add some styles to it. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll just get this far tomorrow and see what people want to do. But with all, essentially with just this, right, pulling in our CSS framework called Fizz and adding this this grid layout that's specific to this site, we can do something like where is it? Oh, did I close it? Let's see. It's sauce test.nullify.app. So I can use our styles to make something that looks a little bit better. I didn't really try too hard to design it, given the time constraints, but the form looks a little better. We've got these boxes and stuff. So that's it. And so going back to Eleventy recipes, there's a lot of other things we could do. We could add front matter to all files in a directory, and basically what that means is, like, say that you might have more than just index, right? You might have a number of pages like this site does, and we don't want to specify that the layout is base for every single one of these. So what we can do is we can make a whatever the folder is. Like, let's say we have a folder that contains all our posts. We can create a file with the same name as the folder, .json, and just pass any front matter that should be applied to everything in that directory. So in that case, we can just say base and remove that from our front matter, and every single one of those pages will use the same layout. So you could apply that to specify like a permalink or do any number of things. We showed how pass-through file copy works. Adding scripts to package JSON, that's basically just like how we did with adding Sass. You can change the default directories. So you can either do that from the command line when you run Eleventy, or what I prefer is to just basically do this. So you can say that the input directory is _src and the output directory is _site. So then you can take, like our images, our Sass folder, our index, basically stuff that ends up in site, and put that in source, and then all of the Eleventy stuff lives a level above that. So that's helpful. You can really easily add a 404 page. Basically just, you have a layout, you make a permalink, and then netlify. If there's a 404 and this file exists, it will automatically redirect to it. So that's pretty easy. Adding global data. So this, you can make a file called site.json that has kind of like meta information about the site that you can then inject in the same way that we did pull in this talk information. You would have essentially site dot, URL, site dot description, and you can pull that into your like your meta information on the website, or you can use that like in the website itself. You can use this for like your favicon, so anything that like you find yourself repeating often across the site. Like here's an example of like pulling in like the site author name and description, things like that, to provide meta information to your pages. That's pretty easy. You can add a sitemap. Somebody actually, it was really cool. So people started doing pull requests for Eleventy recipes, and so this guy added a little tutorial about how to take collections and use that to generate a sitemap. So I haven't made a sitemap in like 20 years. I don't know that people really do that anymore. Maybe people use it for SEO, but I don't think anyone like actually references sitemaps. But I was really appreciative that he did that pull request. Here's another one from a user that talked about creating collections. So this is essentially like how you'd create a blog in Eleventy. And then adding pagination. So you can do this with posts, but you could also do it with data. So we did that on, where is it? On this guy. We're doing pagination for all of the tags. So each of these tags is actually, each image is an individual page, right? So I can click into this image and it shows you the tags for that image. But it's using the pagination to kind of like generate individual pages for each piece of data. So that's a really cool feature. So there's a lot of other stuff that I haven't quite gotten to. Some of this we went over here, like adding Sass, contact form is kind of like what we did there with the request form. You can pull in a lot of different plugins and stuff. Oh, resources. That's another thing I can talk about. I'm at 45 minutes, so that's pretty good. Going back to Stephanie's resources, in addition to all the stuff that she has this lovely Eleventy web ring, which includes Eleventy.recipes, but a lot of other cool stuff. There's this Plugity, I guess. It's a plugin repository by Brian Robinson that lets you add a lot of stuff like an RSS feed or pulling in Cloudinary images. A reading time plugin. It's pretty cool. This guy works for Sanity, I think, so he has a lot of cool Sanity related content. It's like I believe it's like a CMS or like kind of a headless CMS type thing, where you could basically have a UI for your data and have that separate from your site. So you could even use WordPress as a headless CMS, like update all your stuff in their CMS, but then use their API to pull it into your site and generate it using Eleventy into static pages. So it's a lot more secure than having like a WordPress instance, like your own hosted instance, because it's just static pages. It's a lot faster. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as I can tell, there's one person watching in the chat. Do you have any questions I can answer for you about Eleventy before I start switching over to Hitman and murdering people? That was pretty good. I feel good about that. Fuck it, we did it live. Yeah, I feel like I got through a decent amount in a short period of time. It probably felt like a lot to take in, but hopefully it intrigues you enough to dig into Eleventy. I mean, it's really like in building my own site, just makes it a pleasure to update because I'm basically just creating a new page. And then it builds, it's adding it to this index page. It's adding it to the overall, post page. And then where I have these, I can tag it in the front matter. And then, like, I can say, hey, show me every, this is part of the collections feature of Eleventy. You can use the tagging to, show me every post that's tagged with video games or television, and that sort of thing. And then you just have like static pages about here's my about page, and yeah, pretty versatile. It's fast. I mean, you can see this page loads really fast. That's about it. I'm a big fan of Eleventy, and I hope you are too now. So that's that. I'm going to take a brief break, and then I'm going to come back and fire up the stream again and murder some people in Hitman. So if you come back in a few minutes, please do. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.